Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show. And our Joe Rayo is with Mrs. Rayo at the bottom of the earth. And I've got the satellite up there just to show you, give you a little bit of perspective. They are to the southeast of the southern tip of South America in that big patch of clearing. And I mentioned that because we're going to go to our two shot here. And that is Mr. Rayo's view of the Southern Ocean on his way to Antarctica. Mr. Rayo, are you okay? Joseph?
Yeah, Joe, we're fine. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Well, we're fine. We're passing through the Drake Passage, and I got to tell you that this was totally unexpected. The weather. See, this is what they say sometimes: climate is what you expect, weather is what you get.
Right.
I was told, I was told, looking at the statistics, that we would have more or less 90% cloud cover and very rough seas here in the Drake Passage. Well, as you can see, we have almost perfectly clear skies. I just told Renata that after dinner, we may actually go up on top of the ship here and try to see if we can get a glimpse of the green flash, an atmospheric phenomenon that is sometimes seen out at sea when the very top part of the sun disappears below the horizon. It flashes out into a shade of emerald green, and that's something I've only seen a couple of times in my life, and I would never have thought about seeing it this go around. But we've had a beautiful day, and we're hoping that maybe the weather will hold for the solar eclipse, which your time, Joe, Eastern time, will be at about 2 o'clock in the morning. Our time, it'll be at 4 a.m. But down here, you see the sun comes up very early and it goes down very late. And in fact, if we cross the Antarctic Circle next week on December the 7th or 8th, we may actually have 24 hours of daylight, and I'll have a chance to see something else I've never seen before, which is the midnight sun. But we had a great day today, saw some whales breaching close by to the ship. The captain actually slowed the ship down and turned it in a circle to allow passengers to try to get a glimpse of these whales as they were coming up above the surface.
Humpbacks?
And we've had a great time.
Were they humpbacks? Do you know if they were humpbacks or blue whales or?
They might have been blue whale. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Is
the blue whale is very mysterious. They still don't know where the blue whale goes to breed. They know what the humpbacks do and all the other ones, but they still haven't figured out where the blue whales go to breed, which is there's still a lot. Look, what's clear is there is still so much unexplored and stuff that we don't know, and we're even every day we're finding out one new thing about the oceans, particularly the Southern Ocean, which is a place that not many people get to go to. You're just one of the handful there.
Well, I was very flattered and very honored when the cruise line, this is Ponant, which is based in France, Marseille, France, and actually they were looking for, most of the people on board this ship are of the French extraction, but there's about I'd say like what, 40 or 50 people here who have were English. And I'm not talking English in the sense that they're from Great Britain. They're from places like Ohio and Georgia, Joe,
New York area.
New York area. So they need somebody that the shipping company said, we need somebody to interact with these English-speaking people to help talk about space, astronomy, eclipses. Who could we select? And they went to the American Astronomical Society and they said, we think we know who you could get or who we could recommend to you. And here we are. I mean, I did not expect to be here. It just dropped on us in August. I actually I actually did a little introspection about this because I was worried about the rough seas that normally are in the Drake Passage.
Hey,
Also, the
you got
eclipse
lucky.
comes. I mean, I tell you that the eclipse supposedly is going to be clouded out because that's what the climate records say. But the climate records said we were going to have a miserable day today, and we had a gorgeous day today. And I tell you, while the odds are still against us, we have a. It looks like we have a fast-moving wave of low pressure that'll be approaching us from the west on Friday night, Saturday morning. But if it slows down a little bit, who knows? The captain, wonderful guy, Captain Sanchez, who is going to be Garcia. I knew it was Spanish. It's funny thing, Joe. It's a Spanish name. He has a Spanish name, but he speaks fluent French.
Let me stop you for a moment. We're not. What's missing right now is you should be knitting something, and then every time when Joe makes a mistake, you just keep knitting without missing a beat, and you would just lean over and say, Garcia, dear, and then just keep on going. Oh, good Lord.
Joe, can you believe when we first got to know each other over 40 years ago that we would actually be doing something like this, that you'd be in Georgia, and here I am down near Antarctica, and we're doing a live broadcast for all of our viewers.
Well, you know what? I would just add this. Considering what I went through this weekend, I would trade places with you right now and risk the Drake Passage and 30, 40 foot seas, which you're not getting, thankfully, because it has been rough. But yeah, I never, you just don't know where life takes you. And I'm happy to see that you have a smile on your face, because I know that you were not, let's say, 100% thrilled about all of this. And maybe that's not the right way to describe it, just that you had some reservations, and you had a little bit of nervousness.
Joe? Hold on.
4 o'clock in the theater tomorrow.
Sounds good. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Fine. 4 o'clock. That's my next talk tomorrow. Is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I actually made, Joe. I gave a talk yesterday to people here in the theater downstairs about my adventures over the last 50 years of chasing these things, these solar eclipses. And a few people actually came up to me and said they got rather emotional because it was kind of a dedication to my grandfather.
I read that, yes.
Who started me. And they said you did an amazing thing, and your grandfather would be very proud. So I said I wonder where my grandfather would think. Look what you did to me. From the time you showed me my first eclipse, here I am now in Antarctica of all places. So it's kind of crazy.
Well, he set you on a course for many great adventures.
Indeed.
That's something that you have carried with you, and you remember so vividly. And it's
so my wifey here, my best friend or whatever, she's not going to push me or kick me when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. That you and I, people like you and I, with so much knowledge in meteorology and weather and experiencing so many big storms and hurricanes or whatever, what we could bring to the table on local television. And yet the local TV people refuse to look at us partly because of our age and our knowledge and our experience. And it's so stupid that we are not able to get a job in television anymore. And yet here's a cruise line that asked me to please come on board and help the captain of this ship to try to maneuver into position for a solar eclipse down in one of the most exotic places on Earth, Antarctica. And I'm saying to myself, what's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with this? That I'm being allowed to do this, and yet I'm not allowed to step in front of a television camera.
Well, it isn't that you're not allowed. It's that the powers that be in these corporate entities don't have value for people like you and me. So you know what? We've created our own value. We've got our own channel. We've got our own show.
Right.
We do whatever we want and screw them. Really, seriously, screw them.
And
I think the tough part of it is for both of us. I think the tough part of it is, and I was talking with Jeff Banson today. Jeff is working over at the new Fox Weather Channel, and he doesn't do he's off air. So he doesn't do anything on air. He's just strictly off air work, and he misses being
so
on the air. And I think that's where you
Jeff
and
is
I are
Jeff
at.
and Jeff went. Jeff got the AMS certification seal, correct?
Right. Yeah.
I think he's AMS certified, which is very, very difficult. I mean, you and I talked about this with Bill Corbell, our good friend. I asked him toward the end of his career, I said, Bill, you going to go for the certification, the CBM? And he looked at me, he said, I can't do this. I can't. And I said, I understand. If to get that certification, you have to be young. You have to be have a good knowledge of a lot of different things, and we do. But I mean, it's not like we're able to sit down and put this all on a piece of paper in an exam. Let's say
Do you
Jeff
honestly?
is young. Jeff is
Right. But do you?
in his career, but he's got. But here's the irony, Joe. He is certified to be on the air. He is more than qualified to be on television. Yet Fox has said, no, you're not going to be on TV. You're going to do the behind the scenes work. How crazy is that?
No, well, look,
Nuts.
as far as we as far as we're concerned, there's no point in getting it. There's no value. I mean, all we're doing is basically,
Oh, yeah.
writing a $500 check to the AMS on a yearly basis or whatever it is. It's not going to land us a job. It's not, and I don't, I don't even want one. And I've said this many times. I could care less, but I do. Look, if you were working right now, you would have to you'd be struggling to be able to do what you're doing, which is sitting on a cruise ship heading for the Weddell Sea, and getting ready to see a
Oh
solar
yeah. Well,
eclipse. And even if you
you
did,
remember though,
go
you
ahead.
remember that where we were at together for those three great years. You were absolutely right when we were together that we were going to have a blast. Working with you for those 3 years was one of the highlights of my television career, having finally gotten together with you. But you remember that the station that we used to work at together came down with an edict saying no one can have a vacation longer than 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can imagine I just gone to them and said, hey, I've been offered a chance to be on a cruise line for 2 weeks or whatever like that. They've said, no.
Well, there's no point. An edict like that. It's what is the point? That's the thing. You give me time off, and then you tell
Yeah.
me I can't take it. Um, you know, I'll tell you something. I remember the night my grandson was born, and I went into the newsroom. It was like at 6:30 or something, and my daughter had was in labor, and I had to get to go to drive over to Jersey City, and I put everything on tape, and I went into the newsroom, and I said I'm leaving. My daughter's giving birth to my grandson, so I'm going right now. I got some very dirty looks from certain management people, and I've never forgotten that. It's like go
Right.
screw yourself. This is a once in a lifetime thing. The birth of my grandson is far more important than anything that's going on in this hellhole. So I'm in, enough,
All right, Joe.
enough.
There's no need to dwell on the past.
Right.
Let's very quickly dwell on what's happening
Right. Well, you
here for
brought
me.
you brought it up. What's the what's the temperature over there?
I could tell you
I
exactly.
I put it on the chat board already.
Well, we have a. In fact, let me show you the board, Joe.
8.5 degrees right now.
I'm going to show you what we have available to us. This is on our. Can you see that?
Yes.
Can you get a view of that?
Yes.
All right. So this is on satellite TV. This is actually from the ship. So right now we have an air temperature of 8.5 degrees, humidity 61%. The winds are coming out of a northwesterly direction at a speed of 23 knots with gusts as high as 26. And it is, as I said, it's been a perfectly lovely day here in the bottom of the world. Well, not really quite the bottom. Our latitude is our latitude is 58 degrees, 25 minutes south.
Close enough.
And yeah, well, it is close.
Close
it's as
enough.
far south as I've ever.
All right.
It's
Oh, and by the way, we've got both ends covered because you are where you are, approaching Antarctica, and we have Alfred Phillips on today from Wainwright, Alaska. He's at the top of the world.
How do you like that?
So we've got both ends covered. He's at the Arctic. He's north of the Arctic Circle, and you're going to be approaching the Antarctic Circle.
Well, very quickly, we our chances for seeing the eclipse on Saturday morning. We have a storm that's coming in from the west, and that system may spread clouds our way for eclipse morning. Although with the maneuverability that we have, and Captain Garcia is going to do his level best to find some holes in the clouds so that we might be able to get into those for the eclipse. But even if we don't see the eclipse, Joe, I've been telling a lot of the people here on this ship, which kind of gets me excited. A lot of them have never seen a total eclipse of the sun before. Now, for somebody like myself, who knows what it's like to see an eclipse in a nice, bright, clear sky, it will be, I'm not going to pull any punches. It's going to be a disappointment. However, to see the gigantic shadow of the moon approach from the north and east and move over us at about 3,100 miles per hour, this giant tidal wave of darkness. It's going to be like watching a severe thunderstorm with no whatever, but watching a time lapse of a severe thunderstorm just roll in from the north and east and roll over us. That's going to be very, very dramatic, I think, for those of us. We'll have about 1 minute and 45 seconds of totality time to see that. And as I said, a lot of people on this ship have never seen a total eclipse, so that alone will be a magnificent spectacle for them to see. And if we pull it, I keep hearing those of you who are Rocky fans, Sylvester Stallone fans, in Rocky 2, you remember that the theme of that was that Rocky's left eye was damaged, and everybody was saying he couldn't box anymore, and he was going to fight Apollo Creed again. And Burgess Meredith, playing Mickey, said, "Well, knock his block off." And he said, and he's telling Rocky, he says, "Now, here's the plan to pull this miracle off." And I keep thinking about that one line is that, "Here's the plan. We're going to try to pull a miracle out of the hat or whatever." But we'll see how it all
well,
pans out
you pulled that
morning.
You pulled that miracle off once in Hawaii, so why not pull it off here in Antarctica?
Actually, I pulled off a miracle also. We were off the coast of Nova Scotia in 1999 for an eclipse, and I told people, I said, "Come on board, come on, we're going to be on a cruise ship off of and they all laughed. They all laughed at me, and they said, "This is Joe Rayo's ship of fools." If anybody goes on that ship, because everybody knows that in August, the maritime provinces of Canada will usually wake up to low clouds and fog, which burn off by the afternoon. This was right at sunrise, this eclipse. Oh, we're not going to see that eclipse from Nova Scotia on Joe's ship. We're going to go to Europe. We're going to go to England or Germany or France. In fact, originally I told Renata is German, and I promised her, "I'm going to take you for the 99 eclipse to Stuttgart, Germany." And she was kind of excited. And the cruise landed in our lap for that. And guess what, Joe? We had perfect clear skies that morning for the eclipse off of Nova Scotia. And the people who went to France, to the United Kingdom, to Germany, to Stuttgart. Stuttgart, it rained heavily. So, it all depends upon, how it all pans out. Climate is what you get, but weather in the end is climate is what you expect, but weather is what you get.
You are correct. You are correct. So what we need to do is, I'm going to, for some of the late viewers, I'm going to just bring up the shot here of the satellite loop of South America. I actually put 36 frames, and you're sitting. I mean, that's a pretty large. I'm guessing because you said you're south and east of the south coast of Chile. So, but you're sitting in a rather large area of clear skies, and it's sort of hard because of the angle. I do see, and we'll have a Tom Grant moment here. Low pressure approaching from the west. I do see it there. and heading east. But you know what? There's not a solid cloud cover with that. There's like a big patch of open skies with that little low. Hey, at least you don't have a 952 low out there.
By the way, is that picture coming back into play, Joe?
Which picture, Joe?
Is that of the ocean?
Hang on a second. Let me switch.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
I
I'm
know you
gonna.
had the satellite.
I just wanted to bring it up for a moment here. Let me go back. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, is the reflection of the sun is huge. It's
It is.
huge, Joe.
We had amazing. But you know what? I said to a couple of people. I said, maybe this is like we're all going to be sitting under clouds on Saturday morning and saying, why couldn't we have the weather we had on Thursday? But this is amazing that it's as clear as it is out there right now. The climate, the long range tables say this kind of weather is just not possible in the beginning of December, but we have it. So anyway, I'm going to try. We'll try maybe to connect tomorrow.
Okay.
And certainly, if I get any video or something of this this craziness, I'll post it on my Facebook page. I've already posted a number of different pictures from last night and today on Facebook. So if anybody want to go to my Facebook page, Joe Rayo Weather, you'll be able to see those.
All right,
Joe, it's just knocking me out that we're doing this. I can't believe that we're.
Oh no! Look,
we're separated by.
You've got a grin from ear to ear. By the way, let me just tell you real quick before you go. So yesterday I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I said because I still I'm having problems. I looked in the mirror and I said, if I die today, I am not going to look like this. So I went to to my local barber shop where that girl Lee cuts my hair, and I can't wear any pants. I actually have pajamas on. And I'm wearing a bathrobe. I can't wear pants because my stomach is still swollen from the surgery. So I can't button them. So I walk in, and I'm not feeling well. I have a little bit of a low grade fever, but I had to get my hair cut. I just had to and get my goatee cleaned up. So she looked at me and she said, "Excuse me, sir, but may I help you?" And then I realized I looked like a homeless person that just walked in from the street. So I said to her, Lee, it's me. I'm here for I'm here for my haircut. I know I look like a homeless person, but I said I had to see. I call her that girl Lee. There's a long story that goes with that because she married an Italian man from Yonkers, and when she was dating her husband's family that's what they would refer to her. That's how they would refer to her as quote that girl Lee. Anyway.
Yeah.
Too funny. But anyhow, I was still having low grade fever, no progress, problems on the other end too, et cetera, et cetera. And I finally convinced my doctor to give me something because whatever he had given me in terms of antibiotics was not working. So I'm happy to report because he put me on Augmentin. I don't know if you've ever been on Augmentin, but it's like supercharged penicillin. And the pills are they look like horse pills, and I have to take 2 a day. Well, after the first pill, I actually I took it about 4 hours ago. After the first pill, my fever dropped. I actually feel a lot better. So I'm going to see how this gets me through tonight. And hopefully this will get me, on the real road to recovery. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with everybody. I just posted stuff all over the place. I'm playing catch up now. And, you know what? There's no weather of consequence, Joe. The pattern is awful for snow lovers. It's just awful for the next pretty much the next 2 weeks. So unless there's
Well, they say the foot bone is connected to the thigh bone, and the thigh bone is connected. So maybe the fact that the weather is so quiet up north
Until the 15th.
until the 15th may have something to do with the weather down here being so amazingly beautiful. So I'm not sure, but you may be interested, Joe. I think I showed this to you. Spotweather.com,
yes,
which kind of shows the GPS and other models more or less like a photograph or in graphed form, and that's what I've been using down here to try to anticipate what the weather's going to be like. And the Chileans and the Europeans, they have. I don't know if you ever heard of this. Have you ever heard of windy.com?
yes, I have seen windy.com. Yes,
They're in love with windy.com here.
really.
That's what the captain has been using. And and the captain, it's interesting. I told him, Captain Garcia, I said this morning, I said, Captain, it's all well and good, because he's looking at this. I said, Captain, this is not absolute. What these models come out with, what the machines churn out, what they show you right now is not absolute for 2 or 3 or 4 days or beyond. I said, it's nice to use, and then here's the word, Joe, guidance. This is guidance for us. I said, it's good to use as guidance, but tomorrow night, I said, we stop looking at this and we start looking at the satellite pictures, because that's what we have to do in cases like this, is nowcasting. Throw forecasting away tomorrow. It's time for nowcasting to look for breaks in the cloud cover, because it's not the GFS or the global Canadian model that is in charge here, or the European. It's the guy upstairs that's going to be in charge of controlling whether or not we're going to see what we're going to see on Saturday morning. So,
and by the way, for
we'll
those,
keep in touch.
Sure. And but for those of you on the chat board, I just put the link to it. It's spotwx.com. Okay. Because if you put spotweather.com and write it out, you get to a whole a site that's selling that domain name for only $2,995. So it's spotwx.com. Okay, great. So tomorrow, message me, give me a little lead time so I can send out all the information, and hopefully we'll be able to pull it off like we did today.
Well, the internet has been tempestuous, to say the least. You say I have a big smile on my face. I did not have a big smile on my face earlier in the day today, when I was unable to get a lot of the weather information and communicate. She can tell.
And now you just froze up. Okay, so just as we're wrapping this up, Mr. Rayo has frozen here. Oh, great.
Yes.
I actually, it's funny, just as you were talking about the internet going bad, I actually lost the signal here for about 10 seconds. It just came back. So you know what, let's wrap it up before, the whole thing just dissolves, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Or as we say, or as the French say, no, it's au reservoir.
Yes, au
Pierre Francois
reservoir.
Delabrioski, la plume.
Yes, Le Plume de la Brioski. The Joe and Joe Weather Show, brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125 for the best prices in town. OmniTrueValue.com is the website. So we'll see you tomorrow. Maybe we'll have some weather to talk about. Pretty much everything that I said yesterday holds up for today. It really wasn't any noticeable change in terms of the models. So no need to kind of go through it again. And that'll give me an extra day to recover. All right. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.